All right, Michael, go ahead. What's your question?
Okay, so I just wanted to let you know that I guess recently, I would say a week ago, I was given a lesson, would turn my head a bit, was about helping myself prior to helping others. And that was interesting because I'm always putting other people first. And it's kind of different for me to actually concentrate on myself first. And so since then, instead of trying to help others as far as like healing goes and looking opportunities, I was looking to heal myself. And I just over time found it very difficult to, I think, communicate successfully to my body. So it could be anything. Like a year ago, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and it's very minimal and all that stuff. And they're just watching it, but it's a point where I know you can heal it. I know for a fact I can, and it's just those kind of processes where I can communicate and I can successfully listen. But it's more like, how do you do it in a more advanced way? And I know I can talk to my cells and reproduce and all that. I have 100% confidence in that. It's just that, how do I, maybe you can ask the guides and stuff like that to get that in a moving way, in a bigger, expansive way. Because as soon as I learn how to communicate to myself, then I can help others as well. And that's where I'm looking
Is that
for
what you
advice.
do? Are you in a healing modality?
No, but I do. So that's not my profession, and I just do it out of my own time and out of my own interests. Yeah,
Okay. But it's your desire to help with healing?
it is. It's been my calling for I don't know how long. So I know it's probably one of my past lives for sure. No doubt in my mind. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
yeah, is there any advice there?
what can you tell Michael about his desire to first heal himself and then help others? I'm seeing you um, like spread eagle lying on this very dark water. So you're just lying there very peacefully. You're not even having to move your feet to keep them on the surface. You're just floating. So it's like maybe the Dead Sea, right, where you would just float because it's so salty. And so there you are lying there, and you're just looking up at the sky, and you are just allowing all of this energy to flow into and through you. It's a very peaceful feeling. And so it's about you being in a separate space where you can fully focus on allowing the healing to come through, no distractions. So in that way, it's almost like a sensory deprivation experience, if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
except it's larger. I'm not seeing you contained in a tank. It's way larger than that. It's like, you are on the Dead Sea, and you're just lying there and allowing it all to flow down. And now the moon, the full moon, is shining down on you in this very powerful ray. And it's like you would see in one of those science fiction movies where it starts at your head and it moves down your body, and it's like scanning your body and assessing. And now it's gone all the way across your body, and now it's moving back up and it's delivering healing energy to you. And so it can be like that. You don't have to do it yourself. What I'm getting is you focusing on each individual cell and getting in that conversation and telling it to heal itself. There's a little resistance there. And so that's not going to be as successful as you're allowing it to come from divine to heal you. And then there's no resistance. It's just literally you're lying there in that sea, floating effortlessly. So I'm seeing you maybe spending, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes a day doing a meditation where you are in that position and you just allow that healing to go through you. And from there, as you experience it, allow your intuition to guide you on what might change, how you might do it differently, or maybe it'll stay the same. I don't know. It's kind of between you and divine, how you want to work that out. So there might be a little shifting and changing as your cells respond. They might need something different along the healing path. But I'm seeing it as a progression. It's not going to be an instantaneous thing. So it's going to take some period of time. And so it's like they're inviting you, Michael, to step up to a higher level of connection. And it almost feels like this illness, as weird as it sounds, was a blessing because it
Yep,
brought you to this place,
I know that.
right? And then opened the door and invited you in and to step up into that deeper relationship. So, and now I'm getting, it's like, okay, and so if that's the case, then maybe some gratitude is in order for this opportunity.
It is absolutely.
Yeah, sounds really weird, but that's kind of what I'm getting. Does that help?
No, I mean, you're spot on. Exactly. I mean, it's teaching me what people go through and appreciating it's allowing me to understand is really what it is. And so I do appreciate it, and I do look for the opportunity of communicating. And then I think it's challenging me to step up the game. And so that's what I was asking for help for. And I am certainly fine if the divine wants to take over, fine, let them. They were slow to go. And so because of that, I decided, I know some different modalities myself through training and stuff that I can work on a cellular level or a etheric level. It doesn't matter to me and how I approach it. So yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm getting, it's always a good thing to do your third dimensional activities, right? You can do that if you feel led to do that.
Yeah.
But, you don't have to. You can do one or both, which is really cool. And so more, it's that invitation to you to come into that deeper relationship because you're in this up-leveling stage of life where you're stepping up. And just like I was called to be the voice of the Akashic Records, you're being called to something greater than you've done before. And so if you're saying yes and you're flowing with it, that's just beautiful. But you don't have to.
No, I totally get that. And I'm totally with it. So, and I'm prepared. It's just a matter of building up that connection.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
And so I do have one other. So there's two of them I was going to have. That was one of them. And the other part is half of that message you gave me is that connection. So, and I guess this would be for everyone as well, is that as you listen to your guides or whomever, right? It could be any connections they're trying to make with you. How do you listen? How do you even go into the Akashic, how do you differentiate the voices, the listening from your own scrambling thoughts and stuff?
That's actually easier than you would expect because ego, when it talks to us, which is the one we're most, what's the word I'm looking for? We're most used to. It's the most common thing that happens. Ego is often telling us what to do. That's the first thing. Your guides never tell you what to do because you have free choice. They don't tell you. And then ego will very often scorn and ridicule, criticize, put you down. That's how you know it's ego. Your guides don't talk to you that way. They're always about uplifting and encouraging. They're your cheerleaders, right? So when you get that inspired idea, if it feels good, go do it. It was probably your guides. So often we'll get that inspired idea and then ego jumps in and says, oh, you just made that up. But if it felt good, you didn't make it up. And you didn't have that thought before. It's there now and it wasn't there before. That's how you tell the difference. So like, I describe it as kind of like you've got mail. All of a sudden, it's almost like it slipped right in through the mail slot, right? And bam, there's this thought that wasn't there before.
So, yeah, so you say that, and then I like that. And then there's other parts where I find that spirit is with you all the time, right? And sometimes it's obvious stuff they're trying to tell you, as like a simple thing as I was in a cashier checking out and they were trying to tell me something and preoccupied, I was not listening, and I left. I'm like, oh, why didn't you tell me this earlier, right? Because they told me that and I understood it because I was done with my brain thinking, and then you open up your... So anyways, that's what I'm looking for as well. So they're with you all the time. I just want to pick up quicker in more real time what they're trying to say.
Well, we all struggle with that. And it's actually just part of the third dimensional experience because there are so many distractions. So when you're focused on something else and they're going knock, knock, we got a
Yeah.
message,
Yeah.
they'll keep knocking. It's okay. Eventually it'll come through.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it usually does.
Yeah, it's like that background noise. Eventually you become aware of it and then you focus on it and then you get the message. So don't criticize yourself if you don't get it instantaneously, because you are here having a third dimensional experience. That's fine.
I mean, I don't think criticism is a good word. I think it's way of building up to I can listen quicker and understand. So I'm looking for like someone taking a bat to my head saying, "This is the message for you. Listen right now." And that's where I was looking for, is building a connection stronger. So yeah.
Yeah, well, two things. First of all, the more you tune in and pay attention, the easier it gets and the sooner you will, because then it's almost like you're on alert all the time.
Yeah.
You've tuned your channel, it's
Yeah.
coming through clearer. And then the other thing is, and it just popped out of my head. I guess it wasn't important because it popped out of my head, right?
Yeah. About staying tuned. That's actually really good.
It's building the muscle. The more you do it, you build the muscle, the more fluid it gets, right? And then it becomes so familiar that when it happens, you don't even question anymore. You just know. You can distinguish the voice of your guides and your intuition from your ego. And then, of course, there's that feeling. You might get a feeling, and then you question, is that just me? Am I hungry or thirsty, or is it a message? And so again, the same thing, you just tune into it, and pretty soon you'll be able to distinguish it. But if it feels like it's inspired and it feels good, it always comes back to that. If it's inspired and it feels good, it's probably your guides. So act on it. Find out quickly whether it was inspired.
Now, did they ever talk like so you can hear them speaking as a voice, or is it always just come in as a message?
Sometimes. Yeah. When I've been in the Akasha, sometimes I actually do hear the voices. More often it's telepathic. It's like I can hear the voice, but their mouth isn't moving, that kind of thing. But it's different for everybody. So the best thing to do is don't judge it. Just accept whatever comes through and allow it to expand. Because, you know, with our third dimensional awareness, we kind of put it in a little box of what we think it should be. And when we do that, then we limit the experience. So if we just go into that childlike state of joy, wonder, and delight, and it's like, hey, surprise me, let's have fun, then we get more and we get grander and more fun.
Cool. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.